Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I thought I would set the scene a little bit with some props that demonstrate why you all need to know how to work with Americans, because you might think we speak the same language, you might think we're a straightforward sort of British offshoot, but actually I brought a few props just to show you why we're not the same. So I'll start with the Starbucks coffee cup. This is a 30-ounce coffee cup, which is about a bottle of wine. This is sold in the US, it's not sold here. And if you're used to looking at a cup of coffee that looks like that, and you come to the UK, you might think it feels a little like Alice in Wonderland this side of the Atlantic. So bear in mind, bigger is better, okay? Next, there's a Canadian brand of chocolate that's quite successful now in the US. I personally really like the name, and it's a high-protein chocolate. So again, shite chocolate, a bestseller, gives you an idea of the fact that no one knows what shite means in the United States, and therefore it must be a really interesting new product. Next, I bring you from the land of plenty something only Americans would really understand, which is cheese in a spray can. Easy cheese from Kraft. And it says American cheese, in case you wondered. So thankfully, we don't have any French colleagues in the room this evening. But you can imagine that, if this is our standard of cheese, then anything else that comes from overseas must be extremely exotic. So bear in mind that. Next, we have my favorite brand of nappy cream, which is called All Natural Boudreaux's Butt Paste. And diaper rash ointment, skin protectant with zinc oxide. And it's one of the more popular brands. So you've got Sudocrem, we've got butt paste. What can I say? And as an alumnus of the University of Southern California, we are very loyal to our universities, our football teams, our fantastic basketball teams. And in the bookstore, on campus in LA, which I went to on my last trip, I picked up a lovely pen that says USC Trojans, that's the name of our team, but it's not just any pen. It's a pen that plays our fight song. Oh, now it doesn't work. It worked at home. Never mind. Anyway, you hit this and it plays our fight song. So unlike, LSE, UCL, King's College London, Oxford or Cambridge, who don't have a fight song, we have a fight song with a pen that actually plays it. And a couple other quick products and services you might not be aware of. So Gwyneth Paltrow has a company that I'm sure you all have heard of called Goop. And one of her more recent product launches is a candle, not at Space NK, called This Smells Like My Vagina. And this is a candle that's honestly sold in the US and is actually out of stock, just in case you wanted to rush this evening and try to pick one up. And then, of course, there's the Stuart Weitzman boot, which I happened to have purchased while I was in New York 2 years ago. And the model is called Veruca, but with a K, Veruka. And so who wouldn't want to wear a Veruca boot in the UK, right? Get a Veruca. And the final little prop to show you is after we vote for example, I just got my absentee ballot, and I get to have a peel and stick button that says, I voted. So just imagine you could go to your second referendum and vote for or against Brexit, and you'd get a little badge that you could wear on the tube or in meetings that says, "I voted," which just shows that we clearly are not like the UK, and therefore it's important that we all understand why these differences exist. So, before I go into the thank yous and a little short poem, I thought I would just ask you all to test your knowledge using the 100 civics questions and answers from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. So for those that want to become American and take the citizenship test, they need to answer 100 questions and score at least 70% to pass. So I'm just going to check your knowledge of Americans with 3 quick questions. Number 1, what is the supreme law of the land? Any guesses? The name of the supreme law of the United States. Thank you very much. You're right, Paula. The Constitution. Number 2. Yeah, we won't mention Paula's an American lawyer, but I'd have worried if you didn't know that one. Number 2, what do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? Any guesses? Bill of Rights. Very good. And finally, what are 2 rights of 3 in the Declaration of Independence? Have a go, Ben. It is, that's a good guess, but not exactly. It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, sorry. So, before I read my short poem and let you meet each other and continue talking to each other, a few thank yous, as you would expect. So I'd like to firstly thank my colleagues from the National Business Awards who allowed me to use this space. You can imagine that I scoured London looking for a wonderful location. I did request that we have something with a glass ceiling, and here we are. I'd like to also thank Richard Heller, who's a great friend, who's I've known for 20 plus years from various cricket tours, and is also another alternate persona called Ricky Rubato. And you may have heard Richard playing the American standards on this beautiful piano behind me earlier this evening. So thank you to Richard. Graham and Grace, my husband and daughter, Grace is in Seattle at the moment, unfortunately not here, but is here in spirit. And Graham, who thankfully has helped me understand the UK a lot more, and without whom I probably would never have been able to write this book, because you need someone with insights to help you understand how another place works. My co-author Lainey for taking on this venture, twice actually, the first edition and now this one. Routledge, and there are many of my Routledge colleagues in the room, so you'll hopefully meet them. I see several of them right in front of me here. So if those of you might be interested in purchasing a book this evening or want to talk about the broader implications of how you take working with Americans into a company, can I just have you raise your hands so we know who you are? Brilliant. And then the British people. I honestly owe the British people a thank you because of your interest in the world. And I have to say, I've been here 31 years, and again, if you weren't interested in other parts of the world, there would be no appetite for a title like this. Prince Harry, Prince Andrew, Huawei, and Secoulis, President Trump, Boris, and Brexit, I owe all of them a thank you for helping make my book topical. I can't think of any other point in history, than where we are right now, when the special relationship is under the microscope. And so all of them deserve some credit, in my opinion. And most importantly, all of you, for your friendship, your conversations with me, your patience, your explanations of why things work this way. And I'm just really appreciate all of you being here this evening. It's just really fantastic. And your generosity has been remarkable. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to close with a short poem that I wrote at 5:30 in the morning the other day. It's been washing around in my mind, and I put it past Graham, who's like, well, change this, too. And I'm like, no, this is the poem. Like, thank you, but no thanks. You can imagine what my editors at Routledge have experienced then, can't you? So, 'twas the night before Brexit, and all through the house, many creatures were searching for some good business nous. With Boris and Sajid having much on their plates, a country in turmoil with division and hate. Princes Andrew, Harry, the Dunn family, and Huawei, the tech tax, car tariffs, with yet more on the way. So our special relationship with the US of A is one that's key and will certainly pay great rewards to those who master its rules and discover a new book, chock full of handy tools. It's Working with Americans, the second edition, that promises you success there, whatever your mission. Thank you for being here.
I think Brits need to try and say what they mean. It doesn't come naturally. I think Americans struggle when Brits go round the houses and with euphemisms and circumlocution. And I think Americans, by and large, appreciate straight talk. So we have to learn to be a bit more direct, and that will help things go a bit better, I think.
It's about getting everyone to understand that sense of humour is important, and if you don't take yourself so seriously and you are ready to learn from each other and actually both be self-deprecating in understanding one another. I've seen it work, and it was Allyson that helped do that when I worked for Burberry. Actually, we did a great event for them where the Americans and the Brits started to see that there was a big language difference. But that actually wasn't so big once you started to really understand that maybe meant yes or no, depending if you're British or American.
I think know which part of America, because America is a very large place, and the flyover states, as they're known, slightly different. I think north-south different, east-west different. So I think that's really important. So know the culture that you're working in. So I worked with the Carolinas, so there's very religious, don't like conflict, but then you go to New York, totally the opposite, hardcore. So I'd say know where you work, know your environment and know your context, and don't assume all Americans are the same.